In three, two. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Entab CampusCare EdTalks, an exclusive platform where the stalwarts of education come on board and express their viewpoint on curbing topics related to education. But before I begin, let me quickly introduce you to Entab. We are a 20-year-old IT company engaged in providing matured and futuristic school ERP, CRM, mobile apps to the schools spread across India and help in transforming them from good schools to great ones. In today's episode, we shall discuss about the importance of building perseverance in students. We'll understand that how can attitude of the child be shaped to face failure in life. We learn the importance of applauding students for their individual progress. For that very purpose, we have exclusively brought on board Manju Mehta ma'am, the principal of CP Goenka International School, Andheri, West Mumbai. For her contribution to the field of education for over 3 decades, ma'am has been awarded as the most influential principals of Indian schools by the World Education Congress. Ma'am has also been honored as the Principal of the Year 2019 by Global Gurus. We are honored to have you here, ma'am. Welcome on board.
Thank you so much, Himanshu. It's a pleasure, and thank you to Entab and you and your girls back end who really, were very accommodating to all my schedules. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Our pleasure. All right, ma'am. My audience, the first thing before we start this Q&A or webinar, those who are watching me on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, guys, what are you waiting for? Please do so and click on that bell icon to stay regularly updated. All right, ma'am. The first thing my audience would love to know is the meaning of perseverance and why is it important to have?
All right. So, Himanshu, you've asked, in one question, you've asked two parts. I'll answer both the parts of your question. It's so easy on Google, you throw up the word perseverance and there'll be a lot of words coming out. But to my understanding, perseverance is the ability of keep doing something in spite of all the obstacles that you face. People who show perseverance steadfastly keep doing things despite the time it takes to reach their goals. In short, if I can say that, it is like the never give up attitude. Like, in our days, we used to hear that try and try again, keep doing that.
Yeah.
That's the definition of perseverance. Now, why is it important? It's actually important. I think without perseverance, we can't go anywhere in life. One, it increases and we stay committed to our goals. The key to a successful life, Himanshu, if you ask me, and I'm not talking successful life only in terms of financials, because we very loosely start, connecting successful with money. When I say a successful life, and when we keep a perseverance long enough, I think it will help us achieve our true potentials. Like in childhood, you must have read in school, and I'm a school principal, so I will give you a lot of reference of that, like the ant and the hill story. Try again, and finally the ant did climb the hill. So, setting up goals and being very particular about it and being consistent about it, be it a personal or a professional, one needs to keep working towards it. In simple terms, in this lockdown, I can say that I needed perseverance to even keep my cupboard clean. I had to really set my goal and really say that, okay, that is my short-term goal. Or I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to do that a lot of times. And it's been there for years in my to-do list. I really set about doing that. My friends will tell you that. And also, for children, what I would like to say is courses you want to do. You want to do a particular degree. You want to go to a particular college. You want to do, a particular job. It does not happen unless you really, really work towards that very, very hard. So that is why it is so important, Himanshu.
Basically, nothing comes easy in life, and you have to
Yes.
try it. You
Yeah,
have
no,
to
sure.
get out of your comfort zone to go ahead and get it. That's absolutely correct, ma'am. The relationship between technology and perseverance is inversely proportional. One increases and the other decreases. So, do you agree with the same that the modern and fast technology today is one of the main reasons that children don't have patience anymore? Like, I'll give you one very good example, and it's not only limited to children. This happens with me as well. The moment I'm waiting for the lift, for the elevator, I don't know, unintentionally or intentionally or involuntarily or voluntarily, I'll keep on pressing that button. When is it going to come? When is it going to come? Something just kicks off. So, what is your thought point?
Himanshu, I think unfortunately, but yes, it is true. The patience in children, as I said, inversely proportional. I think it's really true. Uh, the patience is going down in children. We've seen that, and it's a paradox that today we are actually using technology to reach out to each other, and we are running a virtual school at CP Goenka International School,
Hmm?
and we've been doing successfully, reaching out to children to make a meaningful difference in their education. We have no other option. However, having said that, as an educationist, I totally believe that the extensive use of technology is leading to many things. And I will just name a few of them that come to my mind at the top of my mind right now. First of all, as you just said, even forget about children. Why are we talking about children only?
Hmm.
It's all of us, the entire generation. Uh, Attention span has substantially decreased and reduced. We can see that children have become so used to quick results. I want quick answers, quick things. I cannot wait. If they've said something, so their patience has really decreased. And because of the decrease in the level of perseverance, children of today are having great difficulty in facing even small failures. That is again a lot of documentation examples we can give around that. The tools that the children use, the games that the children have been using, and more so over in this lockdown period, unfortunately, the children that they indulge in, they give instant gratification. And when you give instant gratification, it's like, it's a fallout. That's saying that the technology is reaching out to children in a bigger way. However, maybe the children are not reading enough. They are not researching enough as they should be doing otherwise. Uh, Most of the children, including adults, why should we only blame children? These days are so used to using Google. Any answer you want, go to Google. And it is a known fact that whenever you type anything on Google, the first few pages that are thrown up may not have all accurate, I'm using the word may, please do not sue me, may not all have accurate information because of all kinds of, boosters that would have been applied for promotional purposes. So that is a huge challenge for us at school when we say research and they use these mediums, technology to research and don't actually visit libraries.
Ma'am, can I point out something in regards to this only? What I've also noticed is, and I just wanted to add one point in terms of technical things as well, that what you said is absolutely correct because it will always show only one side of the story. Like if you read a book, then the author will try to justify his position. However, he will also be contradicting himself, or maybe different articles. But when you Google something and when you try to read an article, and then your algorithm becomes like that you will only get those type of articles only.
Exactly. That's exactly what you meant. Thank you so much for that example. Beautiful example. Also, Himanshu, in schools, what we observe, uh, uh, you know, I know it's difficult, but as a leader who's been part of schools for so long, and especially working with CP Goenka so closely, and virtually also in this last 1.5 years, we see reduced capacity of development of the very basic skills in students, like very basic skills like writing skills. You need that. Still, I'm talking of schools. I'm not talking about giving a SAT examination or some other big examination. I'm a school principal, and I'm a school principal at CP Goenka, so I'll talk about that. We see reduction in skills of basic things like writing skills, recalling basic information. I remember how many numbers we used to remember. If our mobile today gets lost or is missing for a few minutes in the house, we really cannot probably even recall my spouse's number. I have difficulty, recalling my spouse's
I
number.
forgot
So
my
what about
mother's
children?
number. I forgot my mother's number and my father's numbers, and I was surprised. I was like, "What's going on?"
Yes,
Yeah, you're
yes, yes.
absolutely correct.
And not only that, what I also observe and what else I think my thought process and my thought is that there is a diminished basic skills of social skills. So we are live in a society, human beings with emotions. We are not only a machines. We're not machines, definitely not machines. We don't see children wanting to talk to the next child sitting next to him. We don't see children wanting to talk to the parents, or even in the lockdown probably talk to so many people who are cooped up in one house or flat, because they really are so glued to that. So diminished, which is it's painful, it is sad. Social skills overuse is really showing an impact, and these impacts, Himanshu, you don't see it overnight. These are impact that take you see generations to see that impact of that usage. So the human behavior in general, I can see, if I'm not grossly mistaken, I see a student of my 86-year batch, and today when I see a student of my 2021 batch, there's generally a change in behavior, human behavior, with respect to other human relationships. We don't have that energy, the time, the patience to invest in building those social skills. To summarize your question, Himanshu, what I feel is that technology we can't do away with. That is we've discussed it, has been done with. Everyone has said that. But the key is to use it as an aid, as a tool, judicially, and not to make it an end all for everything else that we want to do in life.
Right. Yeah. Wonderful. So the whole idea behind technology is to use it as a tool so that it helps us not degrade or diminish our monetary and our mental value. To be very honest, that's very true. That's very true. You just mentioned about that. Nowadays, I see children. They go in the classroom with calculators, and we never had calculators for our examinations. Everything was either done on these fingers or on the rough piece of paper. So that's true. Ma'am, it is often said that it's all in the mind. Ye sab dimag ka khel hai. So, according to you, how do you think an attitude of a child can be shaped to be not afraid of failure but become more positive towards trying? Like, treat failure as a part of a journey or something.
Yeah. So, this is again a very good question. I, kind of bring this up at my orientations many times. Parents know it all. It's not that, what I'm going to say right now or what my thought process are going to be that we don't know. We know it. But sometimes it just needs to be said out loud again. From our experience, Imagine, I can say that the best way to learn or to face failures is to have actually failures in life. Children should be taught. I'm using the word taught. Please attention. Use that. Focus on that word.
Yeah.
Children should be taught that failures are a part of life,
Right.
and life is a journey with very few hits and many misses.
Right.
There are many misses.
Right.
And no one succeeds without trying again and again. That is a mantra that we should teach our generation.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what. I'm sorry. I got excited and I started clapping. But I'll tell you what. I see kids. I only scored 98%, and they're like, "Oh, what I'm going to do with my life?" And I was like, "Dude, it is nothing. There is so much stress and tension in life apart from just mere marks that how should I tell you? But that's absolutely correct, ma'am, what you mentioned. Wonderful, yeah, wonderful. All right,
So,
ma'am. Yeah,
you know
go on.
what? I think one more, just a little more point to add to this.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that, I would say first parents need to look at and relook at and introspect in the parenting to get it right. And say that to young parents. I may have also made a lot of mistakes while I was, I had young children. But we can't promise our children the moon if they succeed. We always tell them that if you do this is your gratification. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to buy you this.
Bribery.
We need to talk to our children that if they fail, what next? What are we going to do next? What is our plan B? We need to sit down and talk to our children more about plan B of our lives. That if this doesn't happen, if this college doesn't happen, if this degree doesn't happen, you don't get this job, if you don't get that girl, if that girl says no, what are we going to do? And this doesn't happen overnight. This happens when the child is a baby in the preschool.
Right.
You just need to be taught. And again, using the word, the meaning of no, N-O, a big no. That children should understand the meaning of no. Parents, you cannot get emotionally blackmailed. I'm using the word blackmailed.
Yeah.
I love my child so much that I'm going to indulge him with everything because I have the means. I'm not saying parents don't have the means. You have the means. But you have to let your child understand that all his wishes and demands cannot be met.
Basically, you can't be taken for a ride.
Yes, and by not teaching them, to accept rejection, by not taking the word no, you're giving them everything that they want. I think these children are going to grow up to be very emotionally very vulnerable
Mm.
and mentally weak. And that's why we see all those rising suicide cases. I'm not a counselor by chance, but I'm a principal and I do have to have those skills also. I have
Right.
developed skills also. All those rising cases of parent, uh, families not having turmoil because of grown up children in the adolescent children or suicides because the girl turned them down or someone doing this, all those
Yeah,
things that you see.
and honestly, the thing that you mentioned, that our children should be taught the value and the real meaning of saying no, it is actually much more deeper and much more bigger than just being emotionally woke, because this is a social topic which reflects all other aspects as well. Like when a girl
Yeah.
says no, it means no. What does it mean,
No.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So that
We can't be governed by the Hindi film industry, huh? Hindi film or movies. Last year, what
that's हाँ नहीं मैम कर बहुत अच्छा हुआ कोरोना हुआ हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्रीज को भी हिले आई बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट
please, you're going to lose your audience, huh? अगर वो लोग सुन रहे हैं तो.
no ma'am oh yeah all right ma'am moving forward very quickly lastly we recognize and appreciate students who win but should this be changed and students should be applauded for the individual progress and not just कि वो देखो शर्मा जी का लड़का
I
let's
know.
be honest
I know. You know what Himanshu just said is sadly very true of us Indians. We always applaud and celebrate, students or children who do academically, and I'm using the word academically, who do very well. They're good in studies and all of that. However, the good thing is that the awareness that every child is, and every individual, all of us as adults also,
right
a lot of young, I know young, because I have a grown up children also, and I see the young generation also who have just got into jobs and they're trained for a particular job. They change their professions and they just take a dive and do something. So I think there is a positive change coming into the society where people say it's okay. I don't, if I got trained and I become an engineer, I don't need to really continue with my engineering degree and retire only as an engineer. I may
right
want to do that. Parents also are understanding that every child has, my child may have some special skills and strengths which I need to explore over and above the education and academic ones. However, schools fortunately are, operate within a society. You asked me a question, what is happening in the classroom and in schools? We operate in a society and we have many stakeholders that we are answerable to, right? Which includes parents as well. Uh, but before the schools, what I like to say, and I would request all the young parents who are listening to me as school parents, you need to understand, parents, that let's be realistic with the expectation of our children. And let's not thrust our wishes and unfulfilled dreams onto our walls. Like I remember, and I love Shah Rukh Khan at some point of time. I loved his movies. So when I was thinking, I just came to my mind, and I've seen it so many times. So I remember that Anupam Kher as a dad, and Shah Rukh Khan comes running and says, I have failed in London. So
DDLJ
Anukha, yes, DDJ, and he says, DDLJ says, wow, fantastic. तू तो पता है हम तो सब इंडिया में फेल हुए थे तुम
तुम कब
लंदन
विदेश में फेल हुए हो I remember this
I think that was so fantastic. I just jokes apart, parents should actually allow the children to explore all facets of their personalities, be it creative or sporting or literacy, over and above the academics. Now, what should schools do? To my mind, as a school leader, I would say that as far as possible, of course, the finances play an important part to run a school, more so over in COVID times. We know how we've, virtually struggling to set up a virtual school and reach out to the children. But I think we should encourage as far as more possible, give an exposure to all kinds of activities over and above the academics. That's what the schools are meant to do, any case.
right
Teach literacy and numeracy. But we should be able to provide a lot of scope for other things in the curriculum. That is one. To my mind, the second point, important thing that schools can do, and probably if the governments are listening and to educationists, I would say till it is possible, we should do away with marks, percentage, ranks,
Hmm.
all at least at school level. If we can't do it at board level, at our as principals, at least at school level, we should do away with that. Thirdly, we should, I think, give in our reporting, when we report to parents progress learning, we should be giving more of anecdotal feedbacks of your child's learning, instead of saying, he ranked this against those many children in the class. Maybe that would be one thing that schools could do. Also, what I try to do at CP Goenka International School, Mumbai, is that, I try as far as possible to celebrate the diversity of every child that I have in my care. That means if a child is good at leadership skills, has done maybe a TED talk somewhere, and can now implement it to the other. So it's just not to do with, oh, he did so beautifully in maths and English and sciences, but he is done beautifully in the Olympiads or some sport he's got.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of those platforms, even in the online space. We've given a lot of student platforms, those kind of platforms where students, the older ones, give their thought to the younger ones. They are the leaders. They are the heroes that my younger children look up to. So we've given a lot of those platforms at our school. And at school, of course, and it's become easy now in the virtual space. We call a lot of parents, resource people, and it has become easy with the Zoom and all this coming up, especially in this 1 year, where people who've not actually done very good maybe in schools, they didn't score fantastic in schools, but they made a success of their lives by doing something so different from the usual set. We give those kind of, we put
Man,
them in.
even helping the society, maybe, giving food to the elderly or whatever the case is. Celebrating being a good citizen, I guess, is much more important than celebrating it as a, good mark scorer or something.
Yes, I agree with that, Himanshu, totally. So I think change are coming up in schools. Schools are understanding, parents are understanding. But India is a huge country, and the COVID has just taught us that we are huge in numbers. The change will take, but let's keep the hope going.
Right.
That with people like you and with people like Antab, talking to educators and giving us this platform to talk, we are reaching out to more and more people, and able to, probably a lot of people are listening to me as I'm talking to me, and similar other principals who would have probably spoken through this medium. And the change is going and trickling to the smaller towns and cities as well. I would like to hope so, and I am very hopeful and positive on that account.
Absolutely, ma'am. So am I. And by the way, before we log off and before we get over with this webinar, I know for a fact that when it comes to CP Goenka group of schools, I personally am in conversation with Archana Goenka ma'am as well, and I have visited Oshiwara CP Goenka.
Lovely.
Yeah, and that was during December. Lockdown time only. Lockdown got over, and it was in December. I guess before Christmas, I visited Archana ma'am, and you have a beautiful school. It was very vibrant and everything. Of course, students were not there, but then the
Yeah.
school was being operated.
So, Himanshu, I extend my invitation whenever you are there.
Sure,
And
ma'am.
I have my office on the second floor of the school. It's a beautiful office. I'm missing my office as I'm talking to you from my home space right now.
Now you must be in lockdown, right?
Sorry.
You must be in lockdown now.
Yes. I think the government of Maharashtra
Yeah,
and
you've
but
gone back in
it's a
lockdown.
little, right now, a little. We need to be a little more safe of my staff, my children, my parents need to be a little more safe. We need to take care of them, so we are not risking too much.
Right.
Yeah.
So stay safe, ma'am.
Thank
Stay
you.
secure. We all hope that Maharashtra comes out of this, COVID situation very strongly and very quickly. To be very honest, because let's be, Mumbai is the, still the heart-throbbing city, and I would again love to come back to Mumbai. So I'll definitely meet you. Thank you for giving me your valuable time and sharing your viewpoints. It was a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you, Himanshu, and thanks to all your team members at the back who were so supportive and accommodated me at short notice with all my eccentric schedules. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
It was
much,
lovely
ma'am.
talking to you.
Have a
Stay
nice day,
safe.
ma'am.
Stay
Yeah,
safe.
ma'am. You too, ma'am.
Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye. Bye bye.